Please join us in saying, life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this great gift.
Hi, my name is Chris Holton Jablonski, and it is my great joy and privilege to serve you as your minister. And I'm very happy today to be joined by my beloved Lauren Smith for the welcome. And then also especially happy that we get to hear from Rachel Greenberger a little bit later in the service. She's participated in the church in lots of different ways. She's written some beautiful things for worship before. And then also especially was one of our coming of age mentors this last year and did a wonderful job there. And she's written something very beautiful. So welcome, everyone. We wanted to start with this beautiful poem that was actually in our beloved music director's wedding. Ian married his beloved Claire this last Sunday, and this was part of the service.
So this is The True Love by David White. There is a faith in loving fiercely the one who is rightfully yours, especially if you have waited years, and especially if part of you never believed you could deserve this loved and beckoning hand held out to you this way. I am thinking of faith now, and the testaments of loneliness, and what we feel we are worthy of in this world. Years ago in the Hebrides, I remember an old man who would walk every morning on the gray stones to the shore of baying seals, who would press his hat to his chest in the blustering salt wind and say his prayer to the turbulent Jesus hidden in the waters. And I think of the story of the storm and the people walking and seeing the distant yet familiar figure far across the water calling to them. And how we are all preparing for that abrupt waking and that calling and that moment we have to say yes. Except it will not come so grandly, so biblically, but more subtly and intimately in the face of the one you know you have to love. So that when we finally step out of the boat toward them, we find everything holds us and everything confirms our courage. And if you wanted to drown, you could, but you don't, because finally, after all this struggle and all these years, you don't want to anymore. You've simply had enough of drowning, and you want to live and you want to love. And you'll walk across any territory and any darkness, however fluid and however dangerous, to take the one hand and the one life you know belongs in yours.
Come, let us worship together.
Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. Search
So there I was, pressed into the back seat of an old sedan with my best friend since we were 5, sandwiched between 2 huge dudes barreling down the Ghanaian highway, when we came upon an accident. A Trotro, which is a shared taxi minibus, and a car had collided. The Trotro was upside down. Buckets of fish were spilled out all over the road. There was blood on the windshield. Traffic slowed to a crawl, vehicles pulled off the road, folks got out to help or stand about spectating. The men in our car got out also. When they came back, the driver said, "People are dead." His delivery was so matter-of-fact, no pained expression, no dramatic tone, just 3 quiet words, a simple statement. When we came upon the specter of this virus, I was in Tanzania. My husband and I watched the news of its assault on Italy, his home country. In the airport in Dar es Salaam, someone in a hazmat suit pointed a gun at my head. I'd never seen an infrared thermometer before. We re-entered the States a week before anyone here began paying any real attention. Corona was someone else's car wreck, until it wasn't. We buckled in for what would surely be a springtime hiccup. Slap a few Band-Aids on society's scrapes and bruises. We'll be back in business in no time. A little scary, but we can handle this. My neighborhood is full of runners. I am one, and I imagine not the only one, arguing for exercise while running for escape. I run from doubts, addictions, whispers in my head, ultimately from the prospect of dying, that most un-American of conditions. Should death cast the mere hint of its shadow in the doorway, and there's the pistol, and they're off. We flee the threat and the truth. One day, I will end. Unless illness or total fear has gripped the body, most of us continue to move, to create things to do, and then do them. We are a people writhing around in a global hold stillness. External circumstances vary widely, but inside our monsters are the same. Few of us have any idea how to sit still with the mind and hear what it has to say. Since receiving Pema Chodron's When Things Fall Apart in 2001, one illustrative story has stuck with me. Trungpa Rinpoche told about traveling with his attendants to a monastery he'd never been before. As they neared the gates, they saw a large guard dog with huge teeth and red eyes. It was growling ferociously and struggling to get free from the chain that held it. They walked past the dog, keeping their distance, and entered the gate. Suddenly, the chain broke, and the dog rushed at them. The attendants screamed and froze in terror. Rinpoche turned and ran as fast as he could, straight at the dog. The dog was so surprised he put his tail between his legs and ran away. When I run from the red-eyed dog, all I crave is the gate, which keeps out more than just the fear of death. If I could learn to hold still, forget running toward, I'm no master, then facing the truest truth of all may yet show me how I wish to live.
Let us pause in life's pleasures and count its many tears, while we all solve sorrow with the poor. There's a song that will linger forever in our ears. Oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis the song, the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. Whilst we seek mirth and beauty and music light and gay, there are frail forms fainting at the door. Though their voice silent, their pleading lips will say, oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis the song, the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis a sigh that is wafted across the troubled wave. 'Tis a wave that's heard upon the shore. 'Tis a dirge that is heard around the lonely grave. Oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis the song, the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more.
I am so grateful to Rachel for her writing and sharing. I loved that part of Pema Chodron's book, my unofficial book of the pandemic, When Things Fall Apart. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. If it's been a while since you've read it, it's worth picking up again. I've carried it with me basically since March, and it was around in my orbit before then. And what I love so much in the story that Rachel lifted up is, of course, the image of the monk charging toward the dog, being faced with the surprising, disorienting, and dangerous moment, choosing to run toward it, choosing not to hide, not to numb, not to distract or distance, not to let go and drown, but choose, like the poet said at the beginning of the service, because finally, after all this struggle and all these years, you don't want to anymore. You've simply had enough of drowning, and you want to live, and you want to love. My beloved wife, Lauren, has a gift for gratitude. She regularly looks around our house and garden and is amazed and grateful for her life. Because she is made of magic and hard work, she and Ann Mann, our realtor, found us this sturdy, spacious, perfect little house right at the edge of Belmont. This little dirty gem of a house that just needed some superficial love, but that was perfect and solid and wonderful. And Lauren will regularly, especially once the house is clean, once the children are sleeping or otherwise occupied, look around and say, I love our house. This kind of gratitude is good medicine in these sometimes overwhelming days. And this is, to me, part of what the poet and the teacher point to. It would be just as easy to look at this same house in this same moment and see the siding that needs to be replaced, the too small deck which needs to be expanded, the endless lists of projects and improvements that face us. But she has had enough of the drowning in such waters and chooses instead to plant her feet firmly in gratitude. And it makes all the difference. To me, running toward the dog in this moment is about choosing over and over to wake up, to rise up and face these many challenges before us. It means opening to the reality of this crucial election with our 70 some odd days left, getting our absentee ballots, writing postcards, digging into the the vote work at the church. I'm so grateful for the more than 40 of you who have been volunteering for this effort, working so hard. You can also donate directly to the effort. Just Google donate the vote, and it'll take you directly to a donation page. Donations there help fund organizers in the field in these crucial remaining weeks. And if you'd like to join our dozens of volunteers at the church, let me know and I'll get you connected to our organizers. There is still so much work to be done. Running towards the dog means staying the course on all our distancing and masking, on our diligence and efforts to continue to fight this virus. I've been amazed traveling to our camping and other adventures to see so many people unmasked and even cavalier about their masklessness. So often in New Hampshire and Maine, my children and I have been the only ones in masks in gas stations on our way to various distanced adventures. One man in a gas station even made fun of me and my 10-year-old son, asking if we were going to rob the place. Running toward the dog in this moment means preparing for the oncoming school year, knowing that it will be challenging for some of us, entering into this extra challenging time with eyes and hearts open, reaching out to systems of support, knowing that I am here, that all of your hardworking staff are here to support you, all of our support groups, all of our small group ministry, our services, candles, coffee hour, so many ways to connect and be held. So that, like the poet says, when we finally step out of the boat, we find everything holds us. Everything confirms our courage. Living in this moment takes courage. So many of you are facing so much. None of us has this easy, and every twist, every added stressor, every other dog running towards us compounds the challenge. But it is not just you running towards these dogs. You are one of many, held in this powerful embrace of First Church. This is now the beginning of my second year with you all. We are beginning a new configuration of our Board of Trustees, a new leadership team of our Social Action Committee. So much is changing. We are beginning our first fall of virtual worship and programming. We have learned a lot this spring and summer and will be fine-tuning our offerings. So much is different in this strange time. And yet so much is still the same. Our mission together is the same. Our purpose is the same. I am so grateful to you all. When I came last year, so much was already great at First Church. You were already a strong church, a healthy church, full of amazing and wonderful people, so many of you committed and generous, pouring yourselves into this place. Thank you. Thank you for all you built here before I came. It has been a great joy to dive in and get to work with you all. It has been a great joy starting to build together on this firm foundation you all created before I came. And now we look out together on a bright future so full of so much possibility and potential. These dogs charging toward us are no match for us. You have me. We all have each other, shoulder to shoulder, side by side. Know that you are not alone. Know that you are held in courage and held in love this day and always. Amen.
Though I may speak with bravest fight, and have the gift to all inspire, and have not love, my words are vain, as sounding brass and hopeless gain. Though I may give all I possess, and striving so my love profess, but not begin my love within, those prophets soon turn strangely thin. Come, Spirit, come, our hearts control, our spirits on to be made whole. Let inward love that every need, by this we worship and are free.
We give thanks for hats clenched to the chest and prayers said in salty wind. We give thanks for stepping out of the boat, for courage confirmed. We give thanks for running from doubts, addictions, whispering in our heads. We give thanks for sitting still, for listening to our minds and hearing what they have to say. We give thanks for running towards the dog, for facing the truest truth, for seeing how we wish to live. We give thanks that all these dogs charging towards us are no match for this abundant love holding us all. Amen.